up, yo? It's Marc with the Fantasy Knockout Fantasy Football Show. Today is Friday, October 28th. You can follow the show on social media at Fantasy Knockout. Make sure to subscribe whatever platform you're watching or listening on, and let's hit that goal of 100 subscribers on YouTube. I'm excited for today's show. It's the Week 8 must-start players. Who are we feeling confident about? Who are we worried about? Quick reminder, drop it like it's hot. Check those waivers, see who was dropped. Maybe they're better than what was originally on the waivers. Let's talk some news.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the news.
News with views. Wide receiver Ja'Marr Chase from Cincinnati. Reports say Chase with his hip could be sidelined 4 to 6 weeks and is a prime candidate for the injured reserve. That sucks. Bad news for you guys, Chase owners. Sorry. T. Higgins, Hayden Hurst, Tyler Boyd, they all get bumps. Plus, Joe Mixon is going to probably be a little bit more involved. Running back James Robinson from Jacksonville. He's been traded to the Jets. Offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur said the Jets would use the, quote, hot hand when asked about the New York's running back rotation. So this week, start Carter with confidence. Robinson, a flex option if you have him. Wide receiver Kadarius Toney from the Giants. He was traded as well. He was traded to the Kansas City Chiefs in exchange for a conditional 3rd and a 6th-round pick. I don't expect much from Toney in Kansas City for the next few weeks. There's still a lot of guys ahead of him on the depth chart. So running back Ezekiel Elliott out of Dallas. Reports says Zeke has been diagnosed with a sprained MCL and is expected to miss Week 8, possibly more. Running back Alvin Kamara from the New Orleans Saints. There was reports that he was possibly being traded or shopped to the Philadelphia Eagles. That is not true. The Eagles have come out and said that they are not interested. Main event, my must-start players for Week 8. And if I don't specifically talk about the player you're looking for, please check out my latest rankings at fantasyknockout.com. Also, speaking of rankings, currently 23rd overall for the season to date. Yes, had a great week last week. Got back on track. So, let's get into the must-start players. If I'm going to run through a list of players and my confidence level in starting them each week, put them into 3 different categories. We have the start with confidence, the consider if needed, and the bench if possible. Of course, we all like our studs, and I'm going to mention them, but we all know start them with confidence. But, you know, and you don't need anyone to tell you to start Cooper Kupp or Josh Allen and stuff like that. But I'm going to say them just because we all have egos and we like to hear that we drafted well and our players are the top players that week. But again, no players they must sit in any scenario. Perhaps, you know, some flex level player you've been playing, there's maybe a better possibility this week. So to answer any questions about this, should I start player X? It depends on the answer to the question. Who can you start instead? So I'm going to go through this list of players. Obviously, start the guys at the top of the list, the bottom of the list. Try not to. Let's get right into it. Quarterbacks, my confidence level in becoming the top 12 quarterbacks for the week. So I start with confidence, the 100% to 75%. Number 1, Josh Allen from Buffalo, Jalen Hurts from Philadelphia, Tua Tagovailoa out of Miami, Joe Burrow from Cincinnati, and Kyler Murray from Arizona. My consider if needed, the 75 to 50% range. You got Dak Prescott from Dallas, Kirk Cousins from Minnesota, Daniel Jones from the Giants, Derek Carr from the Raiders. The 50 to 40%, Jared Goff from Detroit, the Geno Smith from Seattle, Jimmy Garoppolo from San Francisco, and Marcus Mariota from Atlanta. My bench, if possible, that 40 to 30% confidence level. Trevor Lawrence from Jacksonville, Andy Dalton from New Orleans, Aaron Rodgers from Green Bay, Matthew Stafford from the Rams, Justin Fields from the Bears. And then my under 30%, guys I just don't want to be starting, but if you have to, I get it. Taylor Heinicke out of Washington, Ryan Tannehill from Tennessee, Sam Ehlinger from Indianapolis, and Jacoby Brissett from Cleveland.
Running backs.
All right, running backs. Confidence level in becoming that top 24 running back for the week. Start with confidence, guys. 100 to 75%. Derrick Henry from Tennessee, Josh Jacobs from the Raiders. Barkley from the Giants. Tony Pollard, yes, Tony Pollard, because Zeke is out. He's from Dallas. Nick Chubb from Cleveland. Ken Walker from Seattle. Dalvin Cook from Minnesota. Christian McCaffrey from San Francisco. Wow, that's weird to say still. Alvin Kamara from the Saints. And Jonathan Taylor from Indianapolis. Consider if needed guys the 75 to 50% range. Joe Mixon from Cincinnati. Damian Pierce from Houston, Raheem Mostert out of Miami, Travis Etienne out of Jacksonville, Miles Sanders from Philadelphia, Ramondre Stevenson from New England because Harris is still coming back, Devin Singletary from Buffalo, DeAndre Swift out of Detroit, Aaron Jones from Green Bay, and Michael Carter. Yes, Michael Carter, because Breece Hall is now on the IR. Carter makes this list from the Jets. The consider if needed 50 to 40% range. Najee Harris starts it off with Pittsburgh. Darrell Henderson from the Rams. David Montgomery from the Bears. James Conner from Arizona. Jamal Williams from Detroit. Tyler Agnew from Atlanta. Brian Robinson from Washington. And Kareem Hunt from Cleveland. All right, the bench, if possible, guys, the 40 to 30%. Not too confident in these guys. Deontay Foreman from Carolina, Melvin Gordon from Denver, Damian Harris out of New England, Latavius Murray from Denver, Khalil Herbert from Chicago, Eno Benjamin from Arizona, A.J. Dillon from Green Bay, and Chuba, I always say it wrong, Chuba Hubbard from Carolina. I think it's Chuba Hubbard. I don't know. The under 30% range, guys, I just don't want to see in lineups this week. Chase Edmonds from Miami, Antonio Gibson out of Washington, James Robinson from the Jets, Caleb Huntley from Atlanta, Alexander Madison from Minnesota, Jeff Wilson from San Francisco, Nyheim Hines out of Indianapolis, and Mark Ingram from New Orleans.
Wide receivers.
All right, my wide receivers. The confidence level in becoming that top 24 wideout for the week. Start with confidence. The smash guys, 100% to 85%. Tyreek Hill out of Miami, Justin Jefferson from Minnesota, Cooper Kupp from the Rams, Stephon Diggs from Buffalo. Devontae Adams, yes, even he's battling his little sickness, his illness, flu thing, whatever, from the Raiders. DeAndre Hopkins from Arizona, CeeDee Lamb from Dallas, Jalen Waddle out of Miami, A.J. Brown from Philly, and T. Higgins from Cincinnati. The 85 to 75% range, Amon-Ra St. Brown from Detroit, Chris Olave from New Orleans, Deebo Samuel from the Niners, Gabe Davis from Buffalo, Devontae Smith from Philadelphia, Tyler Lockett out of Seattle, DJ Moore out of Carolina, and Michael Pittman from Indianapolis. The consider if needed guys is 75 to 50% in confidence level. We got Amari Cooper starting that one off from Cleveland, Christian Kirk from Jacksonville, Cortland Sutton out of Denver. I believe they got the early London game. Terry McLaurin from Washington, Brandon Cooks out of Houston, Tyler Boyd from Cincinnati, Deontay Johnson out of Pittsburgh, and Jacoby Myers from New England. The 50 to 40%, consider if needed guys, possible flexes, Adam Thielen out of Minnesota, Brandon Ayuk from the Niners, Jerry Jeudy from Denver, George Pickens out of Pittsburgh, Drake London from Atlanta, Curtis Samuel from Washington, Wan'Dale Robinson out of New York, and Robert Woods from Tennessee. The bench, if possible, the 40 to 30% confidence level, Michael Gallup from Dallas, Darnell Mooney from Chicago, Rondale Moore from Arizona, Romeo Doubs from Green Bay, Hunter Renfrow from the Raiders, Chase Claypool from the Steelers, Garrett Wilson from the Jets, Josh Reynolds from the Lions. The under 30%, guys I just don't want to see in your lineups, Zay Jones out of Jacksonville, Isaiah McKenzie from Buffalo, Alec Pierce from Indianapolis, Donovan Peoples-Jones Donovan Peoples-Jones from Cleveland, Allen Robinson from the Rams, Devontae Parker from New England, Mac Hollins from the Raiders, and Darius Slayton from the Giants.
Tight ends.
All right, some tight ends. Confidence level becoming that top 12 tight end for the week. Start with confidence level, the 100 to 75%. Dallas Goedert kicks it off out of Philly, George Kittle from the Niners, TJ Hawkinson from the Lions, Zach Ertz from Arizona, and Tyler Higbee from the Rams. The consider if needed, that 70 to 30% level, the streamable guys, Taysom Hill out of New Orleans, Kyle Pitts from Atlanta, Pat Freiermuth, the Muth from Pittsburgh, Irv Smith from Minnesota, Dawson Knox from Buffalo, Hayden Hurst out of Cincinnati, Robert Tonyan from Green Bay, Dalton Schultz from the Cowboys, Mike Gesicki out of Miami, and Evan Ingram from Jacksonville. The bench, if possible, the tight ends that I'd rather not see in your lineups, the under 30% in confidence, Greg Dulcich from Denver, Juwan Johnson from New Orleans, Hunter Henry from New England, Noah Fant out of Seattle, Harrison Bryant from Cleveland, and Will Disley from Seattle. So continue to let me know what you guys think of this format. Give me that thumbs up. Leave me that comment. Ask the questions in the comments. I'm here to help you out each week. We want to win you that championship. # dominate your league. Let's talk some players to buy or sell. I got 2 players we can sell high on this week. If you got Aaron Jones from Green Bay, Jones was responsible for both Green Bay's touchdowns on Sunday, seeing a season-high 10 targets along the way. He finished with 28.6 PPR points, which was, also his best output of the year. The Packers are a mess right now, and things don't look like they're going to get any better, leaving Jones in a tough spot with Green Bay. While Green Bay's 3-0 when giving Jones and A.J. Dillon at least 29 combined touches this year, they aren't featured enough. His passing game usage has been low. In the last 2 weeks, he's had 17 carries for just 42 yards. I would use this breakout in week 7 to try to package him with someone for like a Travis Etienne or even like a Dalvin Cook, who also had a disappointing start to the year, and maybe they can be more consistent for you than Jones has been. And then Geno Smith out of Seattle, yes, a quarterback. It seems weird to have Geno as a sell high candidate, but the veteran has played himself into this position, which, kudos to Geno for doing this. But now might be the time to sell him to a quarterback-starved league mate, somebody who's struggling with like Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers. Smith could be fine as we advance, and the schedule's not too challenging for him. However, the Seahawks are surprising contender in the NFC West, and Pete Carroll always prefers to rely on his running game. So the emerge of Ken Walker makes this proposition all the more enticing for Carroll, not to mention it's a good way to hide his less than stellar defense. Plus, DK Metcalf's banged up right now, so he can miss some time. I'd happily move Geno for like a proven commodity. Yes, I know, like a Tom Brady or even like a Matthew Stafford, they're just veterans that know how to do it. Plus, their schedules tend to lighten up over the rest of the season. All right, some players to target, to buy, guys that I'm looking to maybe acquire. Amari Cooper out of Cleveland. So Cooper finished with 3 catches for 74 yards and was targeted 4 times this past week. When you look closer at it, Cooper was flagged for an offensive pass interference that negated a long reception. And that currently ranks him as 11th among receivers with 8.4 targets per game. So prior to Sunday, Cooper had back-to-back outings where he earned 12 targets as well. With Deshaun Watson's return kind of looming in a couple weeks, Cooper may have himself quite a stretch run. With David Njoku out, that opens up a few more targets and a potential increase in red zone, the red zone role. If you have someone like a Cortland Sutton or, just a good receiver on a terrible offense, you could be looking to swap them for Cooper. And then the other guy I'm kind of looking at is DJ Moore from Carolina. Yes, I know I've been saying sell him. Now we're going to look to target or acquire him because things could be finally turning around. The veteran receiver has had his best performance of the year in Week 7, catching 7 of 10 targets for 69 receiving yards and his first touchdown on the season. More importantly, Moore had his 4th straight game with 7 or more targets. Now that Christian McCaffrey and Robbie Anderson are gone, Moore is the only offense in Carolina. Hopefully he gets traded to like Green Bay, which would be ideal, but it kind of seems likely or unlikely nonetheless. I would happily give him, I'd go flip him for like a Curtis Samuel or maybe another piece. If necessary, we try to acquire more. Well, that's going to wrap it up. The next show we have is the Week 8 injury report. I want to say thank you for listening to the show. Make sure to subscribe, whatever platform you're on. Please leave that rating and review. All right, till next time. See ya!